What if you drilled a hole straight through the Earth and jumped in? It sounds like the ultimate shortcut. Forget airplanes, trains, or even Elon Musk's tunnels. Just step into your personal planet-sized slide, and in a few minutes, you pop out on the other side of the globe. Easy, right? Well, unfortunately, physics doesn't like fun that much. Let's start with the obvious problem. The Earth is really, really hot inside. The core is around 5,000 degrees Celsius, hotter than the surface of the sun. Drilling a tunnel straight through it would be less of an engineering project and more of a slow-motion suicide note. Your drill bit would melt before it made it out of your garage. Let's imagine we magically have a perfectly straight, magically reinforced tunnel from one side of the planet to the other. Now comes the fun part, jumping in. At the start, gravity pulls you down and you begin to accelerate. Faster and faster you fall, picking up speed like a roller coaster with no brakes. After about 20 seconds, you're already traveling faster than the fastest free-fall skydiver. After 1 minute, you're breaking the speed of sound. By the time you approach the core, you'd be moving at several kilometers per second, about the speed of an orbital spacecraft. So yes, you are officially a human cannonball without the cannon. But here's the twist. As you pass the center of the Earth, gravity doesn't just disappear. Instead, it reverses. Gravity always pulls you toward the closest mass. Once you go past the middle, most of the Earth's mass is now behind you, tugging you back. That means you start slowing down. You coast upward on the other side, losing speed exactly as you gained it, until, if everything is perfectly frictionless, you reach the surface on the far side of the planet, coming to a dead stop right at ground level. It would take you about 42 minutes, give or take, to make the journey. Congratulations! Earth has become your personal roller coaster loop. Of course, this perfect back-and-forth ride only works in fantasy land. In the real world, air would ruin everything. The tunnel would not be empty. It would be filled with atmosphere. And as you fell, the air resistance would push back. At first, you'd accelerate, but then you'd hit terminal velocity, like a skydiver. Except this isn't just skydiving. This is skydiving through 12,700 kilometers of planet. You'd be slammed by hurricane-force winds, the air would heat up from compression, and pretty soon, you wouldn't be falling. You'd be roasting. If you were lucky, you'd slow down and get stuck somewhere in the middle, dangling like a piece of popcorn in a very angry microwave. Even if you pumped all the air out, there's still the problem of heat conduction. The walls of your tunnel, in contact with the Earth's blazing interior, would transfer heat straight into the shaft. Before long, your perfect sci-fi slide would be more like an oven. You wouldn't so much glide through the planet as bake in it. Not exactly the world's most efficient transportation system, but let's be generous again, and suppose you have a magical, indestructible vacuum tube. No air, no friction, no heat. Perfectly smooth walls. What happens then? In that case, the trip works beautifully. You fall for 21 minutes, pass the center at maximum speed, around 28,000 kilometers per hour, then slow down as gravity pulls you back the other way, arriving on the far side in about 42 minutes total. And if you don't grab onto something, you won't stop there. You'll fall back again, oscillating endlessly like a human pendulum, back and forth until tiny amounts of air resistance or tunnel imperfections eventually bring you to rest, hanging forever at the core. Congratulations! You are now a meatball trapped in the middle of the Earth. There's another catch: rotation. The Earth spins at about 1,600 kilometers per hour at the equator. If you jump into a tunnel that goes from pole to pole, no problem, you drop straight down. But if your tunnel goes, say, from New York to Australia, things get messy. As you fall, you'll still have Earth's sideways momentum from where you started. That means you'll slam into the tunnel walls pretty quickly, at speeds that turn you into stickman jelly. Unless your magic tunnel also constantly adjusts for Earth's rotation, you're not going anywhere except into a solid wall at Mach 5. And then, of course, there's the human body. Accelerating to thousands of kilometers per hour might sound cool, but you would experience enormous G-forces, extreme pressure changes, and probably nausea so violent it would make astronauts cry. If you somehow survived the physics, you'd arrive on the other side of the planet pale, dizzy, and asking for the nearest bathroom. So, what if you drilled a hole straight through the Earth and jumped in? In a perfect, frictionless, indestructible tunnel, you'd glide from one side to the other in about 42 minutes. In reality, you'd suffocate, melt, crash, or simply get stuck halfway and regret all your life choices. It's a great thought experiment, but not such a great travel plan. For now, I recommend airplanes. They may be slow, cramped, and occasionally serve terrible food, but at least they don't involve turning the Earth into your personal crematorium.